creators of the hit show Gentefied. Let's start with the writers, directors, creators. They do it all. This show is on the air because of these people. And we're gonna bring out the first one, who is Marvin Lemus. Give it up! Yes! Then we got Linda Yvette Chavez. Now we're gonna bring on the cast. We got Carrie Martin Lashney. Give it up! Alright, hey Carrie. Now we're gonna bring out, give it up for JJ Sorrell. Come on, JJ. You're on camera, everybody.
What up, everybody? It's too big, don't do that.
Come on out, Annie Gonzalez. And it's competition now. Competition now. Whose fans go harder? And then last but not least, Julissa Calderon. This panel is going to be moderated by the fabulous Mariana De Silva, founder of Elcina. Give it up for Mariana.
Hello everybody. Thank you for being here. Look at this beautiful panel right here. Make some noise for them. Yeah. So when Elcina was asked to program and curate some panels for LA Comic-Con, I thought I have to have Gentefied here. Right? What's more LA than Gentefied? I always say LA Comic-Con is a creator con, and Gentefied is a grassroots show that really you guys dreamt up and brought it all the way to what it's become today. So my first question is for the creators, Linda and Marvin. Tell us about the beginning of the show, how it started, and also about writing with Boyle Heights as your muse.
Yeah, the show started as a digital series that Macro produced and financed. And like 6 years ago, Lynn and I wrote it, we shot it, and America was involved, and we were just hoping to make a good web series, something that would be like fun and that looked like a show that we wish had existed when we were growing up. And then we dropped a trailer before we ever released it, and it just turned into a TV conversation very quickly. We premiered it at Sundance, and then we went out to the town and sold it, and Netflix is where we ended up. Is that boring? It's a little boring, but it's a
No,
little
it's amazing.
We did a lot of when we did the digital series, we did a lot of trauma bonding and putting all of our families' issues and craziness on the table, put it together, and really built something that we're both so proud of.
Yeah, and the show feels so authentic to LA, but it also transcends LA, and it talks about our community, and I think that's relatable anywhere that you may live that has a Latinx community, but also that deals with family and perseverance. That's the human experience. But JJ and Annie, you're both from LA, right?
Born and raised.
Yeah.
Born in Boyle Heights, raised in Latino.
Yeah, so tell us about how you felt when you read the script, how the show was particularly authentic to your East LA Angelino experience.
Ladies first, go ahead.
Age before beauty. No, I'm just kidding. I think immediately when I got the sides and I got the script, I had never seen myself represented on a page. I mean, I feel like as the actor's job, right, we're supposed to see what is written there and then give our own interpretation. This was the first time that it wasn't difficult for me to memorize the words. It just flowed out like water. And I think what the creators did really trauma bonding and doing the work and holding each other's hands and looking at each other's wounds and then pouring it out on paper for all of us to see, feel, and relate to. I was like, I just remember being like, look, even if I don't get it, I am so proud of y'all. I hope whoever ever does, this show goes to the heights that it is. And even while we were back there, I was like, you guys created a show that now we are at Comic-Con representing. Like, this is so powerful. Thank you guys. And thank Martin
And you should answer all the questions.
I'll just piggyback off that and basically say, yeah, when I read it, and I've told Marvin and Linda this, that it was like you guys looked into the window of our families and gatherings and saw us just interacting. The interaction between myself, Carrie, and Carlos, the cousins, the banter between us talking shit, that was like looking through my own family's window. I was like, I was looking at myself and my cousins, you know what I mean? How many of y'all felt the same way? Yeah, so y'all relate. So it was, when I first read it, I was like, man, this is the first time I've really seen my upbringing on the page. So thank you, Marvin and Linda.
I think watching that, we feel it too, so it's really impactful and it's really important. And Julissa, you've always spoken about just being yourself, which I've always admired and girl crushed over for a long time. You've stayed away from getting put in a box, the box that our community gets to, is often fighting against. And I really believe that our superpower is our authenticity, right? When we own who we are and we bring that forth. Can you talk a little bit about how you stayed away from falling into the trap of what Hollywood wants to paint us?
Honestly, I don't know that I think of, first of all, thank you. I think I've always been this person, right? I've grown up, where I grew up, I didn't grow up in LA, but where I grew up in Miami is very similar to Boyle Heights, where it's like, it's you. You are who you are, your family, your cousins, the hood, only wants you to be yourself. And so I grew up in that, and my family kind of always supported exactly who each and every child, each and every cousin, each and every person was in the family. And I think they gave me that strength to like keep being exactly who I was. And so when I came to LA, I didn't want to shy away from that. That's just something that was instilled in me, and I'm still doing it. And I think that in Hollywood, it's just, I found that it's very easy to go with the grain, and not even, and kind of like subconsciously not even think about it, but you're kind of just, you want it in so bad that you kind of mold to a lot of things. But I don't mold and I don't fold. So that's just who I've always been. That's how I grew up, and I feel like it's been working for me. And I only hope that me doing that only inspires other people to stand in their truth and be exactly who you are, because we're one of one.
And Carrie, you talked about how Anna has continued to make you stand in your power, and now you're stepping into a power position of an executive producer of the adaptation of That Boy. We're really excited about that. Can you talk about why you decided to start going into production and producing your own stories?
Well, to be quite honest, I don't know if y'all know my background, but I come from the casting background, and I think having seen the world from the other side, I really felt like the first day I got into the casting office, the first thing I thought was, cool, I'm never gonna get cast. But it was truly a change in perspective when I realized that it wasn't about what, like the idea of what the creators were coming up with. It was, I had to bring exactly what Julissa said, you, and not change you for somebody else. However, that you, like Annie was saying, is it wasn't portrayed correctly until, for me, Marvin and Linda created Gentefied. And I was like, I want to create stories like this. I want to change the mold of what's being said and the stories being told. And the idea behind producing, I was like, why not? America does it, Eva does it. I was like, I can do it too. So I stopped saying that, somebody has to give me permission to do it, and I'm really taking action like these other women before me have, and just not asking for permission now.
That's how we've seen it, the nonprofit that put this together today started. It was just, how do we stop asking for permission? And I think if you guys are listening into this and you're writer, creator yourself, it leads us to our next question, right? In our culture, we are taught to often stay away from tough topics and not talk about immigration and to kind of stay away from things that can be uncomfortable. And I wanted to ask Marvin and Linda, how do you lean into these tough topics? And what advice would you give to somebody who may be afraid to write their story or own their story because of repercussions they may receive after?
That's a good question. I think I always joke with people that Marvin and I are kind of talking motherfuckers when we walk into rooms. And I think a big part of that is we have gone so long, or had gone so long, not seeing our work really greenlit or valued in the way that it deserves to be valued. And so when you are coming from that space, you start to walk into rooms saying like, this is who I am, like it or not, do you want it? No? Okay, the next person's gonna take it. And we walked into those rooms when we were pitching Gentefied, like saying this is a bilingual show, this is a bicultural show, this is a show by us for us, and if you don't like that, you need to go. Luckily, it worked out for us. We got 67 offers for the show, but I think that that's why we walked in very authentically ourselves. We said, this is who we are, and this is the world that we love, and the people that we love with all our hearts. And if you all can't love them like we do, then you're not going to be involved with us. And luckily, Netflix did. They loved it like we did. And I think we got to keep building. I love hearing all of the folks here on this panel are trying to produce and build. And that's the biggest obstacle, that's the biggest challenge we're facing right now. There's not enough creators telling the diversity of stories that we have. Like Marvin and I, Gloria, Tanya, we can't tell all the stories. In fact, we only have our stories. We don't represent everybody. So it's a beautiful thing to see others creating and building and have faith in that story that you have within, because there's a bunch of people here who probably relate to what you're feeling. Are you a geeky Latino like I am? And then, where's that story? I want to see that story. Go tell it.
67 offers.
I definitely wasn't always there. Like I didn't, it took a while for me. The journey to getting to having that confidence of being able to tell the story and own it. Because I definitely remember being afraid of telling this story, of exploring my identity, of trying to figure out, like, am I Mexican enough to even write this? And the way that I got there was digital. Like Lynn and I both come from digital, where we were creating, like, in the early days of YouTube and the early days of Instagram, creating content, working with brands, and like being able to work there where finally, for like the first time maybe ever, aside from indie film, that like there were no gatekeepers, and we got to just create stuff, and we were telling stories and experimenting, and like being able to put it out and see like there is an audience out there, and that we are reaching somebody, and people want to see these stories. Like it gives you that confidence. You eventually, like, we would make something, sketch after sketch or short after short, and realizing like, yo, there's an audience there, and it gives you that confidence as a filmmaker that you need to be able to walk in and be like, this is the story that I got to tell. Like Linda saying, this is the story I have to tell. I'm the only filmmaker that can tell this story, and being able to own it that way, because that's the thing that makes you unique. And I think in terms of, there's a hot gossip going on the table next door, and you mute your iPhone, your headphones, so you can listen in. It's just like, I just want to hear what chisme they got over here. And it's that same thing. We all inherently want to know and want to connect, and like we connect at those places, that the things that we think we can't talk about. That's the point.
Yeah, I completely agree. If you ever want anybody to remember anything, you tell it to them, like you're telling them a chisme, and they're like, yes, that will be stuck forever.
Yeah, no, we love it. I mean, I don't know. We don't like to work. We just do a lot of chisme, and then it ends up becoming stories. That's how we work, to be honest.
So we are going to wrap up soon, but I wanted just to go down the line and say, with everything that is being talked about in the movement, and the doors that we are hopefully opening by having these conversations, by bringing these topics to light, what movies do you want to see made with Latinx in the front and behind the camera? If you don't have one, that's okay.
I could start over here. Okay. I just want to see our faces everywhere without the content being prefaced as Latinx. Like, this is a Latinx film. Like, okay, for instance, right? The movie The Pest.
Yes.
right? John Leguizamo wasn't like, yeah, he just so happened to be Latino, but he was just wilding up in there. Like, he was a scam artist, he was doing accents, he was friends with, you know, the Scottish mafia and with the pastor. Like, I want to see things like that where we get to be outrageous and funny and nuanced and ourselves without the stamp of it, because we are. I mean, America, we're a melting pot. We don't need to have that anymore. We're here, we ain't going nowhere. Let's keep on pushing.
Ditto. She got it. Next.
I'm just baby mama. It's okay, I speak for the both of us.
Okay, I'm gonna get real specific here because I'm manifesting this in my life. Alright, so I'm a hopeless, I'm gonna say huge hopeless romantic. And you speaking on saying about like it not having to be Latinx, it's just because I was made for the role.
Okay.
Alright, so Nicholas Sparks might hear me somewhere someday, but there is a book with a Latina lead, and her name is Carrie Martin Lashney. And if you want to read the book, it's called See Me. It's so good. Latinas, yes, empowered.
I want to see the Chicano Superbad. I want to see something like that. I want to see also Goonies. Goonies with a bunch of little kids. That would be good.
I just want us to be winning Oscars. I want us to elevate and to be like have that prestige, like award-winning film content. Because I feel like often people think our talent does not have the talent, but if you see the people on this panel right here, these actors are incredibly talented and are capable of bringing home Oscars. I think you're changing. People are bringing home Oscars, so I think that those are the films I want to see us making, and those are the budgets I want us to be getting.
For me to try to take a picture of myself at the same time. Wow. Honestly, I want to see some superhero shit. Like, I want to be in Comic-Con. Like, we need to be dressed the fuck up, head down. I'm a super fucking woman, this Dominican ass girl. I want to see us doing that. We haven't seen that. And to what Andy said, to piggyback off of that, it does not need to be that it's Latinx superheroes, right? We already that. We just want to see ourselves in that as well.
I really believe that change happens when we put ourselves in positions of power and then we open doors for people who are also working hard to get in there. And Gentefied is a show about the human experience, about perseverance, about family, about community, and I think everyone can get down with that. So please watch both seasons of Gentefied streaming